A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to films I should have talked about years ago. Because, let me tell you, from my perspective, I'm certainly going to be covering a lot of more recent titles for the most part, because there's always a point in time where I might have to go ahead and cover on them anyways. So with that in mind, let's get on with that whole entire thing, because today, the next film on cue, well, of course you're going to be seeing those on here for the rest of the entire time, but The Predator is what's up next. Yeah, that's its title. The Predator. As if we already have enough Predator films out there, and they always have to stick with Predator or The Predator, and alternate them every now and then just to make it seem like it's different. But what kind of title is that? I will say for sure that a lot of people have covered on this already, and they themselves have had the same sort of confusion as I have. Is it supposed to be like a Predator 4, 5, or 6? What Predator film is it? How on earth do you avert such confusion like this that happens all the time? I tell ya, the film industry really needs to start with correcting all these kinds of trademark issues as much as possible. It's not just the film industry either. There's tons of other things relating to trademark issues like Nerf blasters and, well, tons of other stuff. But by any means, I simply will be talking about The Predator from 2018. This film stars the likes of actors that we do know and some that we don't know, like Olivia Munn, Boyd Holbrook, Jacob Tremblay, Keegan-Michael Key, and some others pretty much. And this film actually does give us a different sort of look at the Predator canon, and it does kind of reboot the series as well. So you know what? I feel like there's been way too many reboots that we've had in the past several decades. Way too many of them. Just to, well, take a look at all the King Kong reboots that we've had. And then, of course, we've had all of these other things take place. But you know what? For a reboot on the Predator franchise, this one, I don't even know what to say about it. Other than the fact that it does basically give us a different story, a different take on how the Predator is being studied by humanity, and all that good stuff. The Predators... oh, man. The Predator in this film is, of course, like what you'd expect. Lots of armor, lots of unbelievable alien-like features on it, extreme intelligence, and some rather interesting technology that allows it to hunt its prey left and right. But guess what? The most disappointing part about this entire film in general related to the Predator and how it interacts with the other characters is that it easily gets taken down and put inside of a laboratory for study. Like, really? This time we have the humans easily taking down a Predator with not much force. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. That's rather disappointing to see. The Predator easily gets taken down. It easily gets defeated by humans. That's crazy. Like, when you expect to see what happened like with the first film in the Predator series, that Predator was unbelievable with how it was able to take down so many people, and yet it still had the guts to go face up against that good old Major, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. But in this case, it's the direct opposite. Instead of killing tons of humans, a ton of humans end up taking down the Predator. Though, of course, it's not dead, but still. What a disappointment. Man. So that's two problems right there. The title and how easily the Predator gets defeated in this film. So, I don't know where else to go with this one. But you know what? I'm just going to keep on going. Believe it or not, the Predator actually does end up awakening and going on a kill spree. That's pretty much what we like to see here. As viewers of the Predator series, we demand to have a Predator that is not a sissy right here. Absolutely not. So, of course, guess what happens next? A ginormous hybrid Predator of some sorts that had pretty much been created with a lot of crossbreeding and DNA splicing and other genetic techniques out there in that same exact facility ends up killing that predator. Like, really? What in the world happened here? An actual predator gets killed by an even more powerful predator that was actually created by humans. Wow. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. But you know what? Eventually what does happen is that this exact giant predator ends up having a large amount of killer hounds. And then eventually gets a hold of Jacob Tremblay. Of course, this exact predator wants to have DNA harvesting on this child, but does not end up getting the chance to do so because guess what? It dies as well. It dies after getting its arm sliced off and then gets hit by a few bullets to the head. Like, how in the world is that supposed to be, like, sensical by any means? Really? Overall, this film entirely, the way I've been able to describe it, was a little more fast-paced. But in case you want to really hear about this film in general, I suggest you go watch at least several other people out there. Cinemassacre Video made their own video about The Predator 2018, and we've also gotten the chance to see other people do it as well. So I suggest you go watch them in case you want to have more time on your hands to spend with those guys at all. So, in terms of giving this a score, though, I'm not so sure by any means if I really want to give it an adjacent yet coherent score. Because this one right here, like I said, an extreme disappointment. For us Predator viewers, I do not care if it's been 3 years since this film came out. I wouldn't care if it's been 75 years since this came out. I wouldn't even care if it's been 979 years since this came out. I could have waited even an entire eon before I talked about this. So, don't take this extremely, because I am in fact just a reviewer. My honest score, though, in attribution to this film, is going to be only a 5.1 out of 10. 5.1. An extreme disappointment, a not too compelling cast out there, but also some rather, I guess, letdown type of things that also happen every now and then. So in a way, don't really go ahead to watch this film unless you really have to, just to prove anything. But don't watch it again when that's over. But anyways, that's it for right now. So if you want to see more go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.